Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for attending our session today. My name is Bill Crowley, and I'm the Chief Product Officer of Hyperwallet. I'm going to give you a short intro to our company, and then I'm going to turn it over to Blair, our software architects, are going to give you a live demo. So, show me the money. So, Hyperwallet makes it easy to pay people around the world. We are a purpose-built payout platform that empowers businesses to easily, quickly, transparently, and cost-effectively pay recipients like independent contractors, drivers, hosts, app developers, anywhere in the world. So in today's sort of growing landscape of digital marketplaces, new economy businesses, there are really two types of payments that happen in that ecosystem. The first payment that happens is payment acceptance, and that is where the buyer takes out their credit card and pays for the good and service that's being offered by that particular seller. And then the second payment that happens is payment acceptance. The payout. And that is where that seller will actually receive the money that they've earned for delivering the goods or services. And Hyperwallet lives on the second half of that payment. So just if we talk about payment acceptance, we feel that payment acceptance has been largely solved by some innovative technology companies that have built some easy-to-use APIs and services on top of well-established payment rails. And what I mean by that is Visa, MasterCard, American Express. So a credit card pretty much looks the same everywhere in the world. Accept credit cards, you can accept payments almost anywhere in the world. Well, payouts doesn't have that same global rail, which makes it challenging for companies that need to pay people around the world. So I'm saying, no, there isn't a global rail to do that. Well, there is, but there's not a cost-effective global rail. So how do payments move around the world? It's around an international wire transfer that is delivered over the SWIFT messaging system through a network of correspondent banks. It's not cost-effective, and it has no transparency. So this is a great graphic that shows a wire. So this is what can happen in the real world. A $200 payment that is sent from the US, let's say to Europe, there's going to be a fee levied to the sender by the sending bank. There's going to be a fee levied to the recipient called the lifting fee to the recipient. And then these correspondent banks get in the middle of that and through foreign exchange take a cut of that payment. So it could whittle down to as low as $140. Hyperwallet has a better way of solving this problem, and that is by integrating into domestic clearing networks. So everyone's familiar with the ACH network here in the US. So that is a cost-effective way to deliver payments. The problem is, and most countries will have a low-cost clearing network, but the problem is that there is no global rail that sits on that. And to make the issue even harder to solve is that every country has a different format for bank accounts, different format for specifications for submitting files, clearing times, and things like that. So that means, unlike a credit card payment, where you have one form factor to accept payments, when you're distributing payments, payouts, that same approach does not work. We solve that problem by going around the world, integrating into local clearing networks, taking all that complexity into our platform, and now have exposed it through a very easy-to-use REST API, which allows you to easily pull that capability into your existing applications without having to bounce them over to some third-party service. So if you can go to a bank and get connected to their local clearing network in that country, why wouldn't you just do that? Well, the answer is that's fine if you're in one country, but we still feel there's reason to work with a company like Hyperwallet. There's a lot more things that happen in a payment. There's compliance, there's sanction screening, there's KYC, there could be tax services that need to apply. We've already built that into our platform. It makes it really easy for you to integrate with us and go global through one single API integration. Up until this point, I've talked exclusively about delivering payments to bank accounts. A principle of our platform, of our company, is to provide choice to payees. We do that by bringing in other alternative payout methods, such as prepaid cards. We have prepaid cards in 10 different currencies, pay to existing 16-digit card in your wallet, mobile money, cash pickup everywhere in the world. We are more than technology, so we have a great technology platform. We have great APIs that Blair's going to demonstrate. We also we actually deliver the payment for you, and we do that by partnering with over 45 bank and non-bank partners. We have a local bank deposit reach to over 88 plus countries. And the other thing that's really important is we allow our companies to fund in 25 different currencies. They don't have to fund in US dollars to make a Australian dollar payment and turn what should be a domestic payment into a foreign exchange payment. We don't do that at our company. And the last thing I will say before I turn over to Blair for the demo is, remember the windy road of a wire transfer? So that has very little visibility as to where that payment is. When things go wrong, when the payment's not delivered, it can take weeks and even months to unravel to find that payment, because it's sitting in some correspondence bank pending account somewhere because it couldn't be delivered or it got held up with sanction screening. When you're on both ends of the payment, the sending ACH payment and the receiving ACH payment, you have a lot more visibility into the transaction. Companies demand this. They want to know where their payment is so they can respond to the person they're paying where their payment is. So with that, I'll turn it over to Blair, and he'll take you through a demo.
Great. Thanks, Bill. Hi, guys. I'm Blair Lennick, and I'm the software architect at Hyperwallet Systems. And I've been involved in financial technology for about 10 years now. And during that time, I've done everything from cut code to design software systems. And over the last 9 months at Hyperwallet, I've been working with a talented group of software professionals to expose the inner workings of the Hyperwallet platform via an open API. Now, Hyperwallet processes roughly about 50 million individual payouts per year to debit cards, credit cards, bank accounts, wire transfers, cash pickups, and a few other means that Bill has mentioned. As you can imagine, trying to roll your own global payout integration against all of these gateways would be quite a difficult task. You'd have to go in and get your relationships established with local banks, deal with the legal and regulatory requirements of those different jurisdictions. And even once you've got the business end figured out, you've got to actually go in and do the integrations and continue to maintain them going forward. Now, we've been doing this for many, many, many years, 15 years to be exact, and we think we've come pretty close to solving the global payout distribution problem over the last little while. So what I'm going to do now is take you guys through a demo of our payout APIs. But to lay the groundwork for that, I'm going to give you a really high-level, 50,000-foot overview of our component architecture. And it starts off with business context. These are really the brains of the Hyperwallet platform. Their role is to take the business rules that we dictate and orchestrate the other subcomponents of the system itself. Users, recipients. These are the people that you need to pay out to. Transfer methods. This is the means with which your users will recoup or withdraw their funds from the Hyperwallet platform. Transaction processing. This component is responsible for hooking into the financial networks and payout gateways all over the world. And compliance and risk. These are the financial rules and industry regulations that keep your money safe and compliant as they're traveling all around the world. And we couldn't consider ourselves a global payout platform if we also didn't handle the localization effort for you. This is your languages and your formats. Currently, the Hyperwallet platform supports 27 different languages. Now, we've went ahead and stripped away what is complex about this picture and left it with three main components. And that's the users, the people you need to pay, the transfer methods, the means that they'll withdraw the payment, and the transaction processing, the payment itself. and rolled that out into an API, which I will now demonstrate. For that, we'll slide on over to our lovely developer documentation set and take a look at the Getting Started section. Now, I've got an account already, so I'm not going to go ahead and do a sign up for you. I'm going to skip right ahead to creating the actual user. Now, if I zoom in here, you can see that on the right-hand side, we've got a curl call that just fills out a few basic profile information. And I'm going to copy and paste this to my favorite terminal and submit it to the Hyperwallet platform. Okay, so as you can see right here, I've now created a user within the Hyperwallet platform that I'm going to pay. Now, for the transfer method, I'm going to shift back over here to the browser, but instead of using a curl call, I'm going to switch to another one of our integration methods, and that's our embedded JavaScript widget, which is nothing more than a snippet of code that you can place inside of any HTML markup to render a widget on the screen that will collect, validate, and submit bank account information directly from the glass or browser of the user to the Hyperwallet platform. And in exchange for that information, what the integrator will get back is a token, which is a key to the information that the user just submitted. So what this does is this removes the integrator away from the sensitive information should they choose. So let's go ahead here and try and create a United States ACH bank account. Oh, not wire transfer. We don't want to do that, as Bill mentioned. So I'll go in and pop in some routing information, choose my checking account, and put in a few digits there. And this account belongs to myself. Okay, so what we have here is the token now that you get back that references the bank details that were just submitted to the Hyperwallet platform. So now when you're ready to register that bank account for that user, you can simply pass over that token for a user on your system on a server-to-server call and have the bank account created. Okay, I'm going to do one last context switch here and head on over to my IDE, and we're going to take a look at the Hyperwallet SDKs to actually complete the payment itself. So as you can see here, I've got a main method that does nothing else other than call a process payment function. And within that function, we've got a get Hyperwallet instance, which will return an instance of the Hyperwallet SDKs, and a payment request object. And in that request object, I'm going to submit the destination token, or the person I'm going to pay, the amount that I'm going to pay them, the currency, the program token, the account that I'm going to debit for the payment, as well as a unique ID and a compliance purpose. So let's go ahead and execute this function. And hopefully what we'll do is we'll get back a payment ID to say that the payment was successfully created. And there it is right there. So in 3 simple steps, create the user, create the withdrawal means, and execute the payment, we have distributed $75 to this account. Now, finally, to tie this all together, I'm going to shift one last time over to the browser and log into our program portal at portal.hyperwallet.com and take a look at the actual API logs to verify that, yes, indeed, we created the user, we created the transfer method, and we went ahead and created the payment. So thanks very much, guys, for everything. And I hope that you got a little bit more of an understanding of the difference between payments acceptance and payouts, and how the Hyperwallet platform has went about addressing those challenges through our open API.